understand what I'm saying. Being like a streamer or any face on the internet is harder than a 9 to 5 in certain ways because it you up mentally. Now, waking up every day and go to a job and lifting boxes, like depending on what you're doing, that's tough too. That's just hard. That is very hard. That is very hard. It's very hard. Like, you feel me? Especially when you're doing a job you don't enjoy doing. That's tough. That's with your mental. You might want to, you feel me? You might be tired of it. You might be unhappy. But being a face, like being a top streamer, is difficult because of all that you go through in terms of like living life. I promise. I'm telling you, gang. You are literally seeing thousands of give their thoughts on you every second. That's not supposed to be. Like, no human brain normally should be able to tolerate that. Just keep it a buck. It's not true. You feel me? Facts. I'm telling the truth. Most of y'all cannot understand what I'm saying.
So there's been a couple times where they've said that take for clip farming purposes, but I think Max actually isn't trolling as much this time. But this definitely got the conversation going again on Twitter. So much so that Cash Nasty actually had to chime in here real quick and had to agree with Max. He says, Big Cash, this is facts. When I was a top streamer, it was taxing on the mental way more. Working a 9 to 5, you get to turn it off, but when under the spotlight, there is no turning off. Not to mention the expectations. I worked a 9 to 5 from the age of 15 and was side hustling, picking pecans, worked my way up to a salaried manager at Walmart. It was a grind, but not so much stress on the mental than being under the spotlight. People see the status and money and don't see what goes on behind the curtains of the show. I think Dante had a take too, but I'm pretty sure he was trolling. Long story short, the conversation is back up again. Is streaming harder than a 9 to 5?
This is worse than Gay Son Thought Daughter. I just want to introduce that briefly. Yeah, I miss Gay Son Thought Daughter. This is just worse. I'll be boring. I'll go first. I don't really give a fuck about our own clip here. I have to admit that. The reason being, this topic is so fucking stupid. It's I don't want to say I'm the only one with the fucking brain. What kind of God complex is that? But I think this is a combination of what happens when clip farmers meet ignorance. Yes, let's just start it here. The clip farm is that obviously no shit, Sherlock. Streaming is not harder than most 9 to 5s. No shit, Sherlock. Everyone up here has worked a 9 to 5. However,
not me.
How, don't you have a job right now?
Okay.
All right, anyway, as I was saying, what the fuck?
Sage literally he stopped streaming to work.
Yeah, he stopped streaming to work. I don't have a job. Like what? However, the issue is that what the rage baity streamers are trying to get at and what they will ultimately achieve is that yes, there are certain minimal 9 to 5s that I'll sit there and be blunt, dog. As a nigga that had a job where all you got to do is literally put the fries in the bag. I ain't gonna lie, yeah. When I was editing, uploading, recording, all that shit, there was a job where I literally only had to put the fries in the bag. I only had to sweep. Yeah, sure. I could sit there, be an asshole to you and say, yeah, that job's easier than the 9 to 5. But the issue with it, and the reason why they're still rage baiting, is because at the end of the day, you got to consider who you were and who these people are. One, you're already a minority. Most of these niggas don't stream. They don't know anything they're talking about. They don't know the difficulties of the job. Yes, there are difficulties of it. But two, they not trying to hear it. And I ain't gonna lie, sometimes you just got to take the punches. No motherfucker who went to school, went to work, got home, got bitched out, got cussed out by their wife, and they might still be working and doing homework. And they got to turn on in their form of entertainment. That actually happened to be your ugly ass. And they got to hear you say that's your life harder. Eat a dick. I ain't gonna lie, like get the fuck out of my face, bro. I will never sit there. Obviously, every point in time, we may have crashed out, ranted, talked about emotional anguish or difficulties that we deal with. Cool. But I will never sit there, look TSO, keep it a buck in the face and say, oh yeah, my life's harder than yours. They're not trying to hear that shit, bro. So I understand why there's a level of ignorance to streamers and their life's the easiest piece of shit. They need to shut up. It's not as easy as they think for the rage baiters, but stop rage baiting your fucking communities. And on that note, I'm gonna get my food.
Let me ask real quick. The marathon shit was in September, right?
Yep.
And it's November 7th, and this nigga's already streaming is harder than 9 to 5s. Yeah, Omar was right, man. That fade shit is not working.
Oh
I'm gonna be real. On this topic, I'm on the fence because one, there are so many layers to this conversation. What are niggas classifying as a 9 to 5? That is the biggest thing that I have noticed when I've had the conversation. When I think about the conversation, all of that, bro. In this context of how these niggas are using it, 9 to 5s are just jobs. And with that frame of mind, understanding these niggas mean jobs in general. So just waking up and having to go to work or do your job. That is what they're saying. Yes, being a top streamer, in the context that he gave, being a top streamer is harder than putting the fries in the bag. It is. Being a top streamer is so much harder than asking motherfuckers at Walmart. When you're working at Walmart, you got to ask, hey, can I see a receipt real quick? All right, have a good day. Yes, being a top streamer is so much harder than all that. Of course. We all know, them niggas know, this nigga Max knows, being a top streamer is not harder than being whatever y'all want to consider a hard job. Because God forbid I start naming jobs and then niggas, well, if you want to be specific, being a hand surgeon is way more difficult than being a brain surgeon. Like, all right, bro, you got it. You got it. Whatever a hard job is in the real world, obviously streaming is not harder than that. This is coming from a person who has 80% of the jobs I worked have been bullshit, easy jobs. 80%. I've had a couple of hard, taxing jobs in terms of physical labor. I'm not going to sit there. I would rather be streaming than doing that shit and like 80% of the other shit I was doing. Was it harder? No. Like what? This stream, especially from my perspective, and that's another thing. When it comes to the people having this, well, nah, streaming and content creating is harder. I was in Trey space and Omar was there too. I wish Omar was here. The people in this space talking about streaming is harder. I bet. Where your video at? Or harder. Someone asked, the question was asked, what do you think is harder to do? Make a good video with good retention or doing some like it was an actual difficult job. I ain't gonna lie. Doing the difficult job? Oh, really? Okay. You do content. Let's see your video. I don't know, gang. I don't want to put the... So it's niggas with no work put in, niggas that make bullshit content that likes to push this convo forward about how easy or how hard content creating is. I'm not necessarily when it comes to that side, the niggas who are streaming to 10 people for 3 years straight, when it comes to the people who have no etiquette when creating content, when it comes to those people, I don't care what side of the fence you are on. I'm just sick of seeing these people being the one that's had these conversations. I would love to get in the Twitter space and see the Dantes of the world, see the high top streamers actually talk about what it takes to be a streamer or be a content creator. Because there's too many people that don't know what it takes to be a good content creator, let alone have a good job. You niggas don't have good jobs and don't know what it takes to be a content creator, talking about which is easier and which is harder.
Yo, B-Souls, this season you've been getting into more different sports, right?
I definitely have, and PrizePicks, our favorite daily fantasy sports app, and the sponsor of this video, has been helping me get into these other sports as well. The great thing about PrizePicks is that it offers weekly promotions. So on Thursdays, I'm making NBA picks because that's primetime NBA basketball time. On Sunday, football is on, so I'm making picks then. The app is just really fun. It's easy to use, and we're going to show you how to make lineups right now. So LeBron and the Lakers are about to play the Bucks. It is just a preseason game, so I'm going to go less honest points for this game. And today, I feel like Zach Edey is going to make a statement game. He's going to get more than 9 points.
And since you've been getting into football, let me tell you about my MVP dual threat sleeper, Jaden Daniels. I'm taking more on his yards any and every time I get.
Let's go ahead and put $12 on this lineup right here. Click submit lineup, and boom, that is how you make a lineup on PrizePicks.
Go to prizepicks.com and use code LKIAB to receive a guaranteed $50 once you play $5 in lineups.
And shout out to PrizePicks again for sponsoring this video. That is once again code LKIAB. And back to the video. Yeah, the biggest problem I've always had with this is just, one, why does there even need to be a comparison? Like, you could have just left it at, bro, streaming's fucking hard and y'all don't get it. And I think if that was a statement, backlash wouldn't be as much as it is right now. Because, yeah, streaming is hard. Being a full-time streamer is hard. But when you try to minimize what other people are doing for a living, when you try to minimize what specifically the motherfuckers in your chat, 20,000, 30,000 people, whatever there are, the guys giving you subs, the guys, you know, consistently supporting you 95% of the time, they have a 9 to 5. I think that is why you get the backlash that you do. But also I think another big problem I have with this is just the overgeneralization of both sides of the fence. Like, what the fuck is a job in this case? That can range in so many different things. That can range from being a fucking surgeon to, like Dom said, putting the fries in the bag. And those two things have completely different pros and cons. It could mean you being a construction worker, which that can be more physically taxing than being a software engineer. So even within the realm of a 9 to 5, we have conversations about what's harder, being a construction worker or a software engineer. But for some reason, when it comes to this shit, we just generalize all 9 to 5s to a 9 to 5. Like, what the fuck? That shit is crazy. And on the other side of the fence, same thing with streaming. I think there's a difference between someone doing it for a hobby, doing like 2 to 3 streams a month, just playing a fucking game, and what Kai's doing, what Max is doing, what Sage is doing, what like a lot of these streamers are doing. There's a different level of expectations, pressure, performance when you are doing this as a full-time living. And I think that is one thing that I feel like the 9 to 5 side of things just don't get, which is fine. But there is just a different level of expectations and a different standard to the quality of your content that y'all will just never get until you guys are in that position. But that's the problem. I think it's a problem with a lot of things that we talk about in general, is people really speaking on things that they don't truly know about and acting like they know about it. And that's when you have these conversations right here.
The conversation is awful because it's essentially a streamer trying to cry, woe is me, to an audience that ain't trying to hear it. But at the same time, that audience doesn't want to necessarily disrespect the streamer, but you didn't even say that your life's hard. You said it's harder than yours. So now it's like, what the fuck? Like, I'm going to paint this example. I have friends that worked Amazon, FedEx, movie sweeping popcorn, and like whatever the fuck. Some whether you think some of them are hard or easy, that's up to you. If my dumb ass sat there, streamed playing Call of Duty with them niggas, ended stream, and I said, damn, bro, y'all don't even understand. They smacked the shit out of me. They'd have had a full-blown fit at me, essentially just being a diva. So that's what I'm saying. Like this whole conversation is just niggas baiting each other. If you're gonna vent to your chat, if you think that people don't understand the difficulties of being a streamer or a YouTuber, I think that is very fair, because 90% of these niggas, all they're going to see is the video and the live stream. They don't see the editing, they don't see the setup or anything like that. I'll go a step further, just because a lot of people I know, they're probably gonna say facts, whatever. I'll ruin my own stock here. I do think Kai Snap probably work harder than a lot of niggas. Absolutely. You niggas ain't Kai. Like, I don't know why the fuck niggas is trying to do this shit, and they'll bring up the most extreme streamer on the goddamn planet. These niggas ain't Kai. TSO Sage, who has a full-blown editing staff. Granted, the money it costs to pay them niggas, but TSO Sage, who has a full-blown editing staff, does not work harder than a nigga who bench presses shit. Probably TSO Sage levels of weight in boxes 24/7, 365, sweating his ass off. No, like, come on, bro. Like, this is such an easy conversation, but niggas is out here trolling for no damn reason other than clicks.
That's why that clip farming shit is whack as hell, man. I'm just saying, man. Omar was right, and I was there with him backing him up. That shit is not gonna work. But I'm looking at what people are saying in the chat. Somebody said it was Corey, matter of fact, that said it in the chat. He believes working a job is easier. Coming from perspective, I think working a job is easy because you get guaranteed money. Unless you're a top streamer, that's just not going to be guaranteed money, and that was his argument. I get that. Which is why I don't understand why people don't actually provide nuance and context in these conversations. And I understand we're talking about it. It's a rage bait clip. It already got the clicks, so we're going to talk about it. Cool. This shouldn't have gotten traction. Like, there's no way every month, y'all, we will sit here and see yet another streamer, all from the same fucking niche and community, say the same thing, and it gets the same uproar and the same conversation every time. We just seen Agent do this a couple of months ago. Was Agent months
might have been
ago.
a month ago for real.
No, because wasn't it Lacey that said this shit a month ago?
Yeah, but he was like legitimately clip farming though, like as a bit.
And at this point, I think all these niggas are clip farming.
Agent 100, like I think it's an inside joke for Agent Stream when he's clip farming though. To be fair, but I get your point.
It's the same outrage though. But even with Lacey clip farming, it still got outrage. It was still and that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm trying to harp on in my, and I'm gonna use this word wrong, soliloquy. I love pointing it out now. But yeah, I feel like that is the issue here. There's no way we're going to keep seeing these guys do the same shit and we give them the reaction they want. Whether we know they're trolling or not, it shouldn't even get this big. Pause if needed.
Yeah, so we may be the problem here, but furthermore, just to continue the convo, I guess, even the guaranteed money point, it's kind of dog shit, and I'm not trying to appeal to the popularity thing. Y'all know, I get dunked on this channel 24/7. I don't give a fuck, but I gotta agree with the majority here. What do you mean the money's guaranteed? I'm sorry, but again, if TSO Sage, the Chick-fil-A college student, heard TSO Sage, the streamer, talk about, man, my money's not guaranteed. Oh, hey, TSO Rage, appreciate the 5 gifted. Bitch, what do you mean? What the fuck do you mean guarantee? Like, yo, boy, stop it.
Yeah.
Stop it.
I just think there's pros and cons to every job. And like certain jobs are going to be more mentally taxing than others. Certain jobs are going to be more physically taxing than others. And depending on who you are, something being mentally taxing may not matter to you because you're just that fucking strong, or vice versa. But hey, man, we got our clip off. They got theirs. Sounds like it's fair game.
It's a cycle. And then the potential react. If we were there on their radar, the reaction to their reaction therefore spawns our reaction, and the content cycle keeps going on. Sometimes I ask if I've made bad decisions.
Oh, best believe, God forbid one of the niggas react to this podcast clip, because I will damn a flight Cash Nasty reaction. I'm going TikToker with it. Green screen on screen. I'm just sitting there. Waiting to talk. Hey.
No, that is the worst fucking. I hate them shorts.
Damo been waiting for me for his channel. I ain't gonna lie.
Stitch incoming.
I just like.
No wait, joins my gears. Yeah, I can't wait.
I'll watch a funny ass skit, damn near like the shit, and as I'm about to swipe, I'll be like, "Is that a nigga in the top left? Oh fuck no! Get that shit out of here! I hate that shit so much, bro."